Good morning, it's Bum Slide Thursday, and you are not Luann Young. Just so you know.
Oh, you're right, I'm not.
You're Alex Parr.
Yeah, I know. We've done this a time or two before.
We have our time or two.
Time or two.
Luann is on her way with her partner, her husband, for a vacation.
Ooh, where?
Cuba.
Really?
I hope she has a better time than I had. She found a resort from friends who've been going for 15, 16 years to the same resort, and they swear by it. So, bon voyage.
Fingers crossed.
I hope she doesn't spend her time on the toilet like I did.
Oh, no.
Anyway, enough about that. How are you, Alex?
If you can't tell by my smooth, sexy, deep jazz voice today, my voice is not really cooperating with me, so you're gonna have to tolerate me for today and tomorrow.
Yeah, you got a little bit of bronchitis or something going on.
Something that's making me all phlegmy, disgusting, and
don't
gross.
start talking like Lou. Every time we do the morning show, she talks about eggs and stuff or bodily function. Lou has a tendency to talk about things that are not really appetizing, and you got to remember, some people are having their breakfast, so please don't talk about body functions, things like that.
Okay, I won't.
She talks about food texture, and she gets all carried away, and it makes these faces and stuff, and it's just,
I would love to see the reactions of people drinking their coffee at home and then just picturing.
You don't have to. Just watch my reaction when she starts talking about things like that, like I just did when you said phlegmy.
You don't like the word phlegmy?
No, I don't. I'd rather hear the word moist. That doesn't bother me. See, does that bother you?
It does. It's just not a pleasant sounding word to hear.
Moist. It sounds all warm and soft. And moist. I don't like the words flaps and folds. No.
Flaps and folds, but not moist. Oh, they're loving it at home right now.
They're having a great breakfast.
Oh.
Hey, guess who died?
That's a segue if I've ever heard one. Who died, Tim?
Kirk Douglas. You don't even know who that is.
No, but I was acting surprised. That's my generation, folks.
Okay, you ever Michael Douglas?
Yeah.
Okay, it was his dad.
Oh, okay. What did he do? What's his claim to fame?
He was an actor.
A good actor?
Remember, have you ever heard this expression, I am Spartacus?
Oh, I read the headlines, yeah.
That's him.
103 years old.
Hey, you did read the headlines.
Yeah, I did.
103 years old. He had a stroke in 1996, and they said that was it. He was going to be done. He wouldn't be able to walk or talk anymore. He did lose his ability to speak at that point, but then he fought
23 years.
Not only that, he fought his way back. He presented at the Academy Awards.
Wow.
I think the Golden Globes as well. He also did a one-man show about his life and stuff.
At what age? Was it recently after the stroke?
I don't know these things.
That's pretty impressive.
So here's some of the films he did. A Gunfight at the OK Corral.
That's what the
Spartacus. Champion. He played this ruthless boxer in Champion. He got him an Oscar nomination. He never really won. He was nominated I think maybe 6 times or something for Oscars. Mm-hmm. He won a Lifetime Achievement Award. Okay. But he never actually won an award for acting, which is crazy.
So the participation ribbon of the Oscars.
You know what else he did? There was a time, you might not know this. There was a time when there were a lot of writers and some actors in Hollywood who were accused of being communists or at least sympathizing with the Communist Party.
Okay. Wow.
So everybody they formed this committee, and they would have they had these hearings, mm-hmm. and they would force people to testify and say, "Have you ever been, or are you now a member of the Communist Party?" And they would, no, really, and they're like,
I liked your impression, is all.
That's how they kind of sound. They all kind of sound like this, and they're like, yeah. Anyway,
did they make the same face?
Yeah, they did. They all looked like they had a pickle up their bum because we don't like communists. Because the whole thing about you know why
no flaps and folds, but pickles and bums is all right. Enjoy your pancakes and coffee, folks. We're off to a hot
pancakes or waffles.
Morning. It depends on the context, and it depends what restaurant I'm at.
Don't do this to me. Do you like pancakes or waffles better?
Gun to my head, I'd probably have to say.
I don't want to put a gun to your head. I just want to know. You like
pancakes?
Thank you. Carrying on.
But if it's the Breakfast Pig, free plug, their waffles are fantastic.
I like that. That's a good plug. Because I like Ms. Caputo over there. So, what are we talking about? Pancakes. Blacklisting. Get those pancakes off this picture. I'm talking about blacklisting.
Well, that's the question that people want to know. I needed to know
Show's
what
gone off the
we're talking
rails.
about.
This is why Luann should never go away. I have no idea what we're talking about. So they had these hearings, and Kirk Douglas was one of the people who fought against those hearings. And there was one guy, I think he was a writer for Spartacus, who was accused of being the communist sympathizer. And he said, you know what? I'm putting your name on the credits anyway. So he fought against the government. But see, the U.S. has always been like obsessed with being anti-communist.
Yeah.
It's why they went to war in the Vietnam War.
Right.
Because communism, we have to stop communism from spreading across the country, across the world. Meanwhile, now look who's the president of the United States. Putin's boyfriend, Donald Trump, who happened also to love China, North Korea. Kim Jong-un writes some love letters. Yeah, all those wars and that communist fighting was really worth it.
Hey, Donald, this guy in power. What you thinking about? I don't know.
Anyway,
what
Michael is survived. Kirk Douglas is survived by his son Michael, lesser-known sons Joel and Peter, and his late son Eric.
Is that how they described them in the article? Lesser-known sons?
No, but they are lesser-known. That's my description.
Okay, wow.
He had a son named Eric who overdosed in 2004. Aww. I know, sad. Okay, so yesterday, was it just yesterday? Yes, I talked to Luann about this member of parliament from Peace River West Block.
Oh, you were very
Alberta.
excited to show me this.
Yeah. And this lady, this woman, Laurel Collins, NDP member from Victoria, stood up in the House of Commons and said, the laws protecting sex trade workers don't do enough.
Right.
There are people who actually work in this trade for, and I talked to Luann about Amsterdam, how they're licensed, how they go to checkups, how they have to do all this stuff. They're government regulated, or whatever, they're regulated.
Yeah, as a real
profession, sex trade. It's okay. In Canada, of course, we have, what do the laws say? You can be a sex trade worker, you just can't hire one. It's not illegal to be a sex trade worker, but it's illegal to procure. Or also, I think you're not supposed to advertise that you are. Anyway. So this member of parliament gets up and she's like, we need to protect sex trade workers more. We've criminalized their workplace. The Conservative government criminalized their workplace with this certain bill. So this guy stands up and he says, have you ever considered being a sex trade worker? NDP member Laurel Collins of Victoria. And of course the reaction was, whoa. Now he kind of made a point, because she's saying it's a viable career. So when he says, have you ever considered it? And the reaction is, oh, how dare you? That would imply that people there's the stigma. But it's the way he did it, and he was like, it wasn't cool. He apologized.
Yeah.
So I started doing some research on this Arnold Viersen gentleman.
He did some deep digging today.
I did. So it turns out, not surprisingly, from grade 1 through grade 12, he was a student at the Covenant Canadian Reformed School, which is a private Christian school in Alberta. All right, so he's probably pretty Christian. And then so I'm thinking, okay, so he's probably straight-laced. That's the thing, sex trade workers. Well, it turns out, no, the guy's really very cool. He's actually a rapper. And I'd like to show you a little video I stumbled across on YouTube of MP Arnold Viersen rapping for the Conservative Party. Roll the clip.
Even on Twitter, I'm a heavy hitter. Cabinet for 10 years, leave the live in tears. The man from Muskoka, I'm our party's Lei Akoka. I know I'm right, we need to take a bait. A hockey mom in the GTA, we need the opportunity so all can play. We need a leader who can sing opera. Canada will prosper with me on the roster. I work in the morning, I work in the day, I work at night, even when I play doctor, minister, man.
To think I accused that young man of not having his finger on the pulse of the younger generation.
Hi, my name is Alex, and I'm here to say, explosion. Yeah, I'm cool, and I'm A-OK. How was that? That was better than what I just saw on that TV. Just all I needed was some explosions on this back screen.
At least your tie is tied better than his was.
Oh, I'll do one of these.
Do you watch The Masked Singer? You don't watch TV like that, do you, Alex Parr?
No, but it is a very interesting concept show.
When I first heard about it, Alex, I honestly thought, this looks like one of those really crazy Japanese
game shows for sure, yeah.
No, but I'm hooked.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Guess who was exposed last night as the llama, the crazy llama? A
person who sings.
Drew Carey. first of all, it was Lil Wayne was on the show.
Well, I feel like that one must have been the easiest to guess. I feel like
No, they didn't guess him. His thing. It's just what happens is they perform, and then the audience votes on who they like the least as far as vocals go.
Okay.
And so Lil Wayne lost the first night and had to take his little robot head off and expose himself. Exposed himself on national television.
Baby.
And last night, Drew carried the llama. Yeah, I can't wait to find out. I know who the turtle is. It's Jesse McCartney.
How positive are you?
I'll tell you in a little while. Stay tuned. Stay tuned for the clues that I solve the mystery of Jesse McCartney. Meanwhile, on the show today, you know what, Alex Parr? We have a great show today. Stay tuned for our first interview is coming up right after this.
In your home, lighting is just as important as style.
With PowerView Motorization from Hunter Douglas, you can schedule your shades to light up the room. Create privacy, or both, automatically. No hands required.
So your shades will always be in the right place at the right time in style. And it's only from Hunter Douglas.
Angelo, it's me, Vito. Imbecile, your brother. Listen, you bring 10 gallons of flat eggshell or white paint.
This past year, we've been celebrating our 65th anniversary, dating back to services originating in our community in 1954, which is quite some time ago. It's been a great opportunity this past year to recognize the pioneers, the stakeholders that worked tirelessly to create what we are today. I'm grateful for everything that the families 65 years ago and the people that assembled the organization have done in order for us to achieve the success that we're experiencing 65 years later.
There is always something going on at this Bushplane Museum. It's so much more than Bushplanes, Dan Ingram.
It is. It's a great place to be.
Not that Bushplanes aren't enough. I mean, the interactive exhibits that are always here for the Bushplane Museum are fantastic, but this is something new that you guys are continuing to do, bringing new exhibits in, keeping things fresh, keeping the locals from Sault Ste. Marie, giving them a reason to come down and visit the Bushplane again, right?
Exactly. What we're trying to do is we're trying to re-engage the local people to come to the Bushplane Museum. We've had so many changes over the last few years that people haven't seen, and this gives us an opportunity to bring something in unique to Sault Ste. Marie, a hockey exhibit, which is Sault Ste. Marie is a hockey town.
Absolutely.
And this is just a great opportunity for us to showcase something new to the community that they've never seen before.
Absolutely. This just moved in here recently. We're pre-taping this. It's here until March the 29th, is that right?
It is, March 29th. It started the 1st. On the 8th, we have a big kickoff event, but it's here till the 29th.
So it's kind of cool also that it arrived just in time for Bonsu, right?
It is. We had a great event yesterday. We was set up for it yesterday, so some people got to preview it before we're seeing it today even.
Before we're even seeing it today. And it takes up a good chunk of space here. What used to be the entire area where you would have parties, if you rented the space before for weddings or parties, this is the area where you would have been. Now, of course, one of the renovations is that area has moved to the other end of the, where our hangar used to be down there, right?
It is. We have a great new event center at the other end of the hangar.
Yeah.
It allows us to get the same accessibility outside. We have a door that we can open for inside-outside activities, and
absolutely.
So we've dedicated this area to traveling exhibits, and we hope to bring in 2 or 3 a year, different ones. This is the second one we brought in. We brought one in September. It was called Beyond Human Limits from Science North.
Yes.
And this one here is called Hockey, and it's from the Canadian Museum of History, which is out of Gatineau.
out of Gatineau, Quebec. I believe there's two that are touring around the country at this moment. We're lucky enough to have this one for the next over a month, right?
2 months.
2 months. Okay, so lots of time to get down here and visit. And what can people expect to see when they come down here, Dan?
Well, there's the graphic panels which come with the exhibit, which show history of Canadian history of hockey. There's a little bit of tribute to Hockey Night in Canada, about the business of hockey, international hockey, a little bit on women's hockey. So there's a little bit of everything. We also have interactive booths there. We'll take a look at later, I'm told.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Then we showcased some local stuff. So we asked some of the local organizations, the Greyhounds and the Thunderbirds, and some the Pee Wee Arena.
Pee Wee as well.
And we asked some local people to bring stuff in, and we have a great collection of Greyhound stuff and local artifacts to complement this national exhibit.
Some of those Greyhounds, the photos from the Greyhound that are in there, when you first arrive, there's a beautiful display, a vintage Greyhound jacket and a jersey, and a photo from, was it, what year, 20-something?
1924 Allen Cup team. Apparently they drove to Winnipeg, or got to Winnipeg. I'm not sure if they drove in the winter time, but they got to Winnipeg for a 2-game series and won the Allen Cup and brought it back to Sault Ste. Marie.
Some great trophies there from the Pee Wee I see over there that are also, I guess, because I hate to say the word antique because it's only from the 70s.
Yes, it was.
What does that say about us?
It was a Sault Ste. Marie team that went to the John Bellevaux tournament and captured the trophy and brought it back to Sault Ste. Marie.
Of course, Memorial Cup. There's a whole area dedicated to the Memorial Cup as well.
We do. We have a section we're setting up has footage from the actual time of the Memorial Cup that we're going to be rolling in with the exhibit. So,
and one of my favorite things is a 45 album of Julie Farkas singing Hound Power. I remember that so well, that song. You said that there were several people who were going to donate their albums, right?
Yeah, we had a few people that had that in their collection that they were going to lend us. We only needed the one, so we got one donated to us.
That was a great song. It still is a great song. I would like to go see, there's something over there that just cracked me up. I want to go and sit on a bench with you, and you tell me the story, okay?
Sure.
Come with us as we go sit on a very memorable seat. Some of the fun stuff here includes there's some hockey sticks beside us, Dan, that came from the 1970s when the Greyhounds first became an NHL team, right?
Yep. So when they first came into the OHL, there's a team. There's a goalie stick signed by the original team. I know it's one of the original teams because Paul Woods' signature is right in the middle, and he went on to great things in the NHL and is still broadcasting, I believe, for the Red Wings. So hockey lore right there.
Speaking of hockey lore, we're sitting on some hockey lore. This is one of the original seats from the Memorial Gardens, from the original Gardens, man. I remember these seats.
Yes, these were the expensive seats at the time. You look at what's at the GFL Center now. They're all lush chairs. These were the expensive seats back when the Memorial Gardens was built way back in the 50s.
I remember these seats on my bum watching Beatlemania and all those friggin' concerts like Trooper and who else? Who did you see sitting on these seats?
I don't know. I was sitting in the cheap seats at the top, which are the long bench ones, and I remember seeing April Wine and Trooper and I think Tom Cochran there. So there's some pretty good Canadian bands.
Have you been a Hounds fan, a hockey fan all your life, or what?
Yes, I was born in the Sioux. I've been playing hockey since I've been 5. My dad and mom actually billeted some Greyhounds for a while when we were kids, and we just had we've always been hockey fans and always been Greyhounds fans, and this brings back so many memories, this exhibit, for me.
Good for you, and it will for lots of people. And also, if you've got kids and you want, or grandchildren, you want to bring them and talk about what it's been like for hockey in Sault Ste. Marie, and maybe bring back some memories and tell some stories. It's a great opportunity to share intergenerational stories, right?
It is, and it also brings back some of the great stories from the NHL, the amateur hockey, women's hockey. So there's all kinds of different things. Somebody's going to find something interesting in this exhibit. So we're hoping everybody comes down and spends some time with us.
It's a nice thing that you've done, and I guess most cities would be encouraged to do this, to take their local flair, their local history, and incorporate it into the exhibit that's traveling from the museum.
Well, they encourage that as well, because they're not allowed to provide artifacts. They don't want to lose some of the precious artifacts with it. So they encourage you to have live artifacts with your exhibit. And we have huge hockey history here in Sault Ste. Marie. So.
But they do actually include some really fun stuff, like the interactive stuff. I'd like to go now because, as you can see, I'm pretty good with the microphone there, Dan. And I don't know how I do, though, as a sports announcer. I get the chance to try that out here?
You can have a great time trying.
Let's go check it out. So the guy is going down the ice, and he's got the black thing at the end of his wooden thing, and then he is now going towards the thing, and he gets it. Oh, then he gets it in the, and they're dropping it, and then he goes in the net, and he gets a basket, and it's 2 points. Okay, so clearly I am no Harry Wolf.
No Harry Wolf?
No. However, this is fun. This is one of the interactive exhibits. Can you sort of explain, Dan, what the idea is behind this?
Well, there's 3 games that you can choose, and it gives you about a minute or 2 clip. They show you the action, and they actually, almost like karaoke, they put the words below so you can follow along and broadcast the play-by-play of the game. And fortunately, they don't record it, so they don't. They're not going to sell it on eBay.
So that what I just did there is not going to live to embarrass me forever, but that actually will with on TV. And it's French and English, which is very cool, bilingual exhibit.
It is. It's coming from Gatineau, Quebec, and everything in here is bilingual for the user.
All of the displays have French and English, and also right across from us, there's another area where you can hear some legendary broadcasters.
Well, we're going to be showing some of the portions of the Memorial Cups when it was here in Sault Ste. Marie. Some of the footage that was shown then, and so people will be able to experience it or relive it if they were here.
That's a pretty nice. Speaking of jerseys, that's a pretty nice Thunderbirds jersey. Where'd you get that there, Dan Ingram?
I picked it up at one of the Thunderbird games a few years ago. They had switched uniforms to a newer uniform, and they were selling these in their gift shop, and I purchased it, and I really like it.
You really are a hockey fan, aren't you?
I am. I grew up playing hockey, and I watch hockey all the time. So.
Hey, now here at the Bushplane, while this is all going on, of course, we've got all the Bushplane exhibits plus the hockey exhibit. More exciting news coming up, which we'll get to another day, but just so you know, Atomica is getting ready to open here. Once again, all of this is going to be included when you come in to pay your admission for the Bushplane Museum. All of these exhibits and other Atomica will all be included, right?
Definitely, we include everything with your admission. And if you come down next Saturday, February 8th, we're having a kickoff to the hockey exhibit. We have all kinds of activities going on, some skills competitions.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Fun stuff.
Superior Brewery is going to be here serving beer and wine in the evening. We also have Beaver Tails supplying food.
Yum.
And all of this whole exhibit and everything's sponsored by World Cars, DK Designs, and Sue Mills. So come on down.
DK Design I wasn't really familiar with. Can you explain who DK Design is? Because I think we all know who Sumil Bildal is, and we probably all know Hyundai World Cars. Hyundai, I always say that wrong. It rhymes with Monday, Hyundai. I know that now. DK Design.
DK Design is the local contractor that does interior work. I think they specialize in bathroom.
Did you say you used them?
We did. We used them for our bathroom reno downstairs, and they did fabulous works for us. So
there you go. Thanks for sponsoring this event and staying. Getting all this stuff happening in Sault Ste. Marie for all of us locals to come out and enjoy, and all the other visitors to the Bushplane Museum. I think something like, I don't even know how many. Do you know how many tens of thousands of people come through these doors annually, Dan?
Through admissions and events, we had over 41,000 people last year. We're hoping to get that many this weekend. There's a big hockey tournament in town, 40 teams from out of town. We've invited them all to come down to check out this display as well as the Bushplane. So we're hoping to have a great event Saturday, and we'll have this exhibit to the end of March. So if you can't come down this Saturday, come on down.
At the end of March. You mentioned Beaver Tails. Is the concession open as well, Dan, on the weekends and stuff for people to get some food or what?
Well, this weekend, this Saturday, the concessions will be open, and we'll have
kickoff.
For the kickoff event, and that's something we're hoping to be able to provide in the future as concessions during our busier times of the year. We're not there yet with the new event center. We've just completed it. We're still figuring out what we can do in there, but yeah, eventually we'd like to have concessions and maybe even lunch in here once in a while.
That's fantastic. Lots of exciting stuff going on here at the Bushplane Museum with, of course, my friend Bushplane Edie. And today it's Dan Ingram. Thanks for sharing your time with us.
Thanks for coming down, Tim.
Oh, a pleasure. Come down and check out hockey at the Bushplane Museum and enjoy the opening festivities on February the 8th. But the exhibit is here until March 29th. And we'll be back with more Mornings with Luann and Tim right after this. I'm going to try this again now. See if I can do this in French.
This is On TV.
It's kind of funny. Aaron and I Hi, Aaron. We were back in the other room during the break going, oh yeah, Kirk Douglas films, and we're looking, and then we're like, and Michael Douglas. Michael Douglas is a great film. So then we start talking about all the great Michael Douglas films, and I was like, started to look them up, and I was like, why am I looking up Michael Douglas films? He's still alive. Anyway.
Well, you can celebrate somebody who's
You've
still
never
alive.
seen Fatal Attraction. You must watch Fatal Attraction. That's a great Michael Douglas film.
If I had a nickel for every time somebody has told me, oh, you gotta watch this. You must see it. Especially for Aaron, who's behind the camera right now. He literally wants to make a whole show about movies I just haven't seen. I wouldn't be doing this. I'd be retired already.
Hey, what did you think about that hockey thing? Do you think that was fun?
Enthusiasm, A+.
For my calling the game?
Execution.
Yeah. Okay, but so it's a cool thing though, right? For a hockey exhibit.
Oh my goodness.
Would you like to go in there and do that?
I'm definitely 110%.
I think there's 3 different games you can choose from, and they're all like really famous games.
Yeah.
And it's like, and their script is there, so you can actually just do the script, or you can call your own game.
Was it the script that they did for the actual game at the time?
Yes.
Oh,
I believe it's the actual.
That is pretty cool, actually.
Yeah. No, it's a really cool exhibit, and I know that you're a hockey fan.
Big hockey nerd.
You should go to the Bushplane Museum and check out the hockey exhibit. It's here till the end of March. So.
Done.
Okay. I wanted to talk about the turtle and how I know the how I know the turtle is, because I did really good investigative reporting. Jesse McCartney is the turtle on The Masked Singer.
I was so confused.
See, they give you clues, Alex.
Okay.
There's always a little package before the person sings, and they disguise their voice, and no one knows who they are. So they give you clues in the video package. You have to try to guess who it is.
So it'll be like this 3-time Grammy nominated.
Well, no, they actually talk. It's them narrating, saying, "So in
their normal voice. Or
No, it's
disguised voice.
So anyway,
this is the disguised voice.
For the turtle character, they had him holding a surfboard at one point.
Okay.
Well, Jesse McCartney was in a TV show called Summerland, which is like surfing. Okay. Also, Jesse McCartney, we think he was in a boy band. Well, he wasn't a boy band. The boy band was called Dream Street. Okay.
Okay.
But listen to this.
Back at Tim's desk is just like pictures everywhere and
Jesse
string
McCartney,
all over. It's Jesse McCartney.
Listen, in his video package, the turtle was doing like this. You know how Bart Simpson writes on the blackboard on the opening credits of The Simpsons?
Over and over, yeah.
Okay, so the turtle was writing on the blackboard, and he was writing, "Don't rave ever at my school turtle." DREAMST, Dream Street.
Whoa!
Jesse McCartney.
Wow.
I think Jordan Sparks is a kangaroo. Anyway, did you want to tell me what day of the week it is, Alex?
It's a few different ones.
Or what day of the month or the year, whatever.
Today.
I know you've done some research. So
National Frozen Yogurt Day. I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory.
How do you feel about frozen yogurt?
I actually got sick while I ate frozen yogurt once.
I like frozen yogurt.
I don't do frozen yogurt anymore.
Let's move on. What else is it?
National Girls and Women in Sports Day.
Well, that's a good one.
That's an awesome one, especially with Christine Sinclair. The most international goals for a soccer player ever held by a Canadian woman. Pretty darn cool if you ask me. But the strangest day, hands down by far,
yes,
National Lame Duck Day.
Okay, a lame duck would indicate that someone who's not doing a good job what they're doing, they're not carrying their weight.
Yeah, he's not like a rapping duck. So he doesn't have like street cred. He's like more focused on his school.
So they actually could just, so
originally, the 1700s.
So we're celebrating a day for somebody who's not carrying their weight, not cool.
Right. Originally from the 1700s, it was for someone who couldn't pay back debts.
Oh.
But now it's more for politicians. Someone that's lost a re-election bid, chosen not to seek another term, been prevented from running for a re-election due to a term limit, or holds a position that has been eliminated. You bunch of lame ducks.
Oh. Was that a hockey team?
The Lame Ducks?
Yeah.
The Mighty Ducks. The Lame Ducks were another one debunked, yeah.
This close. Hey, do the news.
Oh boy, you guys are in for a treat because my voice was not here while I did the news earlier. So you know what? I'll let you guys listen because some big stories.
Don't judge Alex, just listen to the news.
Please.
And we'll be back after that on this.
U.S. Senate acquitted President Donald Trump of both impeachment charges Wednesday, ending only the third presidential trial in American history, with votes that split the country and tested civic norms.
A roll call vote is required. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Alexander.
Not guilty.
Mr. Alexander, not guilty. Ms. Baldwin. Guilty. Ms. Baldwin, guilty. Ms. Collins. Ms. Collins, not guilty. Mr. Manchin.
Guilty.
Mr. Manchin, guilty. Mr. Romney.
Guilty.
Mr. Romney, guilty.
On this article of impeachment, 48 senators have pronounced Donald John Trump, President of the United States, guilty as charged. 52 senators have pronounced him not guilty as charged. 2/3 of the senators present not having pronounced him guilty, the Senate adjudges that the respondent, Donald John Trump, President of the United States, is not guilty as charged in the first article of impeachment. On this article of impeachment, 47 senators have pronounced Donald John Trump, President of the United States, guilty as charged. 53 senators have pronounced him not guilty as charged. 2/3 of the senators present not having pronounced him guilty, the Senate adjudges that respondent Donald John Trump, President of the United States, is not guilty as charged in the second article of impeachment. The presiding officer directs judgment to be entered in accordance with the judgment of the Senate as follows. The Senate, having tried Donald John Trump, President of the United States, upon 2 articles of impeachment exhibited against him by the House of Representatives, and 2/3 of the senators present not having found him guilty of the charges contained therein, it is therefore ordered and adjudged that the said Donald John Trump be, and he is hereby, acquitted of the charges in said articles.
Mr. Chief Justice.
The Majority Leader is recognized.
I move that the Senate, sitting as a court of impeachment on the articles against Donald John Trump, adjourn, sine die.
Without objection, the motion is agreed to. The Senate, sitting as a court of impeachment, stands adjourned, sine die.
Conservative leader Andrew Scheer claims the Trudeau government's plan to implement the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples will give Indigenous groups a veto over the Trans Mountain Pipeline expansion. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says Scheer doesn't understand the law.
Now, yesterday, the finance minister was asked whether all obstacles had been removed from the construction of TMX. He could not answer the question. So, can the prime minister guarantee an in-service date for Trans Mountain? Here's what the court did say yesterday. Project opponents, quote, cannot tactically use the consultation process as a means to try to veto a project. That's good news. However, the prime minister has promised to use a United Nations declaration to create a new threshold requiring free, prior, and informed consent. How does the prime minister expect any new projects to get built under that regime?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, everything the member opposite just said demonstrates at which point the Conservative Party does not understand the modern economy, does not understand the expectations of Canadians to be responsible around environmental concerns, to work with Indigenous communities, and to get things done the right way. No wonder they failed for 10 years. No wonder they keep failing.
Now, there are dozens of First Nations communities who supported Northern Gateway. There are dozens who support Trans Mountain, and there are dozens who support Frontier Mine. And the courts have ruled that no one community has a veto over projects. But the Prime Minister is using a United Nations declaration to create a new threshold of free, prior, and informed consent. Does the Prime Minister not realize that granting a veto power that does not currently exist will stop any project from being built in the future?
The Trans Mountain Pipeline expansion is being built right now. So the member opposite, I'm sure, didn't want to make false statements to this House. Secondly, the court reaffirmed yesterday that free, prior, informed consent does not mean a veto for any communities. That is something that is absolutely clear that they are choosing to misunderstand for political reasons.
Foreign Affairs Minister François-Philippe Champagne says the federal government has secured space on board a U.S. plane to evacuate a few dozen Canadians from the Chinese city of Wuhan. The U.S. plane will leave a few hours after an evacuation flight organized by the federal government that is set to carry 211 Canadians out of Wuhan, the epicenter of the novel coronavirus. That government-chartered evacuation flight was to have already been in the air and on its way back to Canada, but it was delayed due to bad weather. Serge Ibaka's three-point shots hadn't been falling all night, so when the Congolese big man set up to launch a long bomb with 30 seconds to play and history on the line, the Scotiabank Arena crowd held its collective breath. Ibaka connected for the go-ahead basket as the Toronto Raptors overcame a 19-point deficit to beat the Indiana Pacers on Wednesday, setting a franchise record with their 12th consecutive victory. What Toronto players and coaches have been saying all season, the Raptors know how to win. Kyle Lowry poured in 32 points and Ibaka added a season-high 30, going 2 for 7 from the three-point range. Pascal Siakam had 25 points, while Terrence Davis had 11 and Fred VanVleet chipped in 10 for Toronto, and Malcolm Brogdon scored 24 points to lead the Pacers. 10 more people, including 2 Canadians, were sickened with a new virus aboard one of 2 quarantine cruise ships, with some 5,400 passengers and crew aboard, health officials say in Japan Thursday. China reported earlier 73 more deaths, while the World Health Organization appealed for more funds to help countries battle the spread of the disease. The ships in Japan and Hong Kong are caught up in a global health emergency that seems to worsen by the day. In the port city of Yokohama, just outside of Tokyo, health workers said 10 more people from the Diamond Princess were confirmed ill with the virus, in addition to 10 others who tested positive on Wednesday. The latest infections include 4 Japanese, 2 Americans, 2 Canadians, 1 New Zealander, and 1 Taiwanese, most of who were in their 60s and 70s.
As a nation, Canada has participated in all of the major world conflicts. In the Sioux area alone, over 10,000 men and women have enlisted in the Canadian Armed Forces. The Veterans Commemorative Monument aims to cement the legacy of the Canadian Armed Forces in stone. It will highlight the bravery, strength, courage, and sacrifice of our servicemen and women. In times of need, they volunteered to serve us. Now it is our time to thank and recognize their sacrifice. You can help honor our men and women of service by donating today to help construct this special one-of-a-kind monument. Visit thosewhoserve.ca to find out how to donate and more.
Welcome back to Mornings with Luann and Tim. And now, Tim, I have some thought-provoking would you rather questions for you.
I gotta think.
You gotta think.
I better think.
So,
What?
me and my friends, we love to play Would You Rather. Give some weird, wacky scenarios.
I've never played Would You Rather.
Really?
No,
well,
I've never.
It's pretty easy. It's,
okay.
What would you rather?
Okay.
Eat your favorite food for the rest of your life, or eat whatever you want but not gain a single pound?
Eat whatever. What? Eat my favorite food for the rest of my life?
Yeah, or eat whatever you want without gaining a single pound.
I would like to eat whatever I want without getting a single pound.
And 88% of people that responded would agree with you. I thought that was pretty easy, right?
What do the other 12 want to do?
Eat your favorite food for the rest of their life.
And get me be fat then?
Yeah. Now, would you rather perform petty thievery for a living or perform grand larceny?
Oh, well, grand larceny is going to get me a whole lot more money right away, right?
Yeah.
I'd rather do grand larceny.
But
what?
You might be hurting people a lot more financially. Petty thievery, you might be stealing like 20
Oh, there's nothing as a victimless crime.
Okay.
I just made that up.
So, grand larceny?
Yeah, well, absolutely, because then you're gonna get more, and then you can just like one big grand larceny thing, and then I can run away to Cuba with Luann, and then never have to commit petty thievery. But petty thievery over and over again, that's just exhausting.
You just want it one and done, eh?
I just want to commit one huge crime and escape.
62% of people would agree with that. So far, you're on the right side.
Yay me.
Now,
wrong side of the law, right side of public opinion.
Would you rather be an absolute moron
I already am.
with the best luck, or be one of the wisest people and one of the biggest geniuses of all time, but with the worst luck?
I want the best luck and be stupid.
Right? That's what I was thinking too.
Well, wouldn't that make life easier?
Well, yeah, you wouldn't really have to do anything.
Well,
ignorance
also,
is bliss.
I'm the wisest person in the world and I get hit by a bus. Where's the point in that? Well, it's the worst. You got the worst luck.
Yeah.
Things are like that are going to happen to you all the time.
68% of people would also like to be stupid.
and
have the best
luck. Because you could be stupid and rich.
Now,
you could win the lottery. See, the whole point is, why do we bother trying, people? Just steal big and live dumb.
This is not what I meant by this segment. ONNTV's views do not reflect what Tim's saying.
Is there another question? Because this is fun.
50% of your body burned or 100% of your body tattooed?
No one should ever wish to have their body burned. That's a horrible thing.
But I mean like tattoos all over your face, Post Malone times 50.
Post Malone's doing all right.
So you want to go 100% of your body tattooed?
I would rather that than burned.
Really?
Yes, I really would.
67%?
You know what? Probably burn victims would say they're survivors, you know, and beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but I don't, tattoos.
I think I would agree, as well as 67% of people.
Okay.
Now this one was
I'm like 4 for 4.
This one was the closest I'd ever seen a would you rather.
Ooh.
Would you rather be on the Titanic or be Hitler's friend?
I'd rather be on the Titanic.
50%.1. Only 400 votes separated, 400,000 votes in total to be on the Titanic over Hitler's friend.
Well, you know what, though? If you think about it, for the Titanic, some people survived, for one thing.
Well, yeah, and if you're
secondly,
Hitler's friend, you can take him out.
But no. Oh, I could kill Hitler?
You could
What kind of a friend kills a friend?
A good friend.
No, but...
in that case.
No, at least I get half a cruise. Okay, so listen, I'm going to go now to a break, and I'll tell you, the thing is, it's Black History Month, and there are 2 really cool events coming up. ACANO is here. That stands for the African Caribbean...
that means we'll be back.
ACCAN. African Caribbean Canadian North America. Watch the interview, find out what ACANO stands for, and buy tickets for their dinner because it sounds amazing. Plus, a sit-down brunch where we share stories. It's fantastic. ACANO coming up for Black History Month after this break. Titanic, I think, for sure.
Titanic? Okay, well, yeah, I think I
Angelo, it's me, Vito. Imbecile, your brother. Listen, you bring 10 gallons of flat eggshell or white paint.
Recently, the Government of Ontario established a $100 million affordability fund to help Ontarians who don't qualify for low-income conservation programs ease the burden of their electricity bill. Whether you rent or own your home, as long as you pay your electric bill, you could qualify. There are 3 levels of support available. The first is a home energy kit with upgrades like smart power bars and LED light bulbs. The second includes Energy Star appliances that help keep things cool during the hot summer months. The third is for electrically heated homes so that your power bills don't break the bank during those long Canadian winters. Plus, all upgrades, including installation, are completely free of charge. Visit affordabilityfund.org or call 1-855-494-FUND to find out if you qualify.
If you're struggling with thoughts of suicide, there is hope and there is help. You matter. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The calls are free and confidential. Call 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255. You are not alone.
February is Black History Month, and Sault Ste. Marie, get ready because we're going to have a party. Am I right, ladies?
Absolutely.
A couple of parties, I understand. This is Jane. Jane, you're the president of ACANO, which stands for?
African Caribbean Canadian Association of Northern Ontario.
Beautiful. And you are the secretary, Rimaz?
Correct.
Okay. How long have you been associated with ACANO? Since you came to the Soo, after you came, how did you find out about ACANO?
Shortly after I came to the Sioux, I met an Akano lady who I was asking her about doing hair in the Sioux, and then she introduced me to a group of women who were also associated with Akano, and from there I never left.
What about you, Jane? How did you get involved with Akano?
I'm actually one of the co-founders of Akano.
Oh, okay, I'm glad I asked that question.
I moved here in 2006 with my family. My husband got a job at a steel plant, and that's what brought us here. And after living here for a while, we were able to quickly realize that there was very little of us here.
Tell me about it. Oh yeah, I grew up here.
And we thought, what a better way to really get to know each other than to find a way of bringing people of African descent together. So I and a few other people got together, and it was just a group of about 5 families that got together. So we started by having potlucks in each other's homes, and that potluck grew into a bigger group. Our first main meeting was at the Sioux Community Career Center. We outgrew that space, so we reached out to Sioux College, and we had 2 events at Sioux College. We outgrew that space, and at that point we thought, you know what, maybe we need to think about something formal.
Isn't that?
And that's how Akano was birthed, and that's how having a celebration of a Black History Month was also started.
You know, that I don't know if you've met anybody from the Northern Ontario, the Latin Society. Have you met any of those? Because it's a very similar situation. Actually, it wasn't until they formed the Latin Society here in the Sioux that they discovered there were people who'd lived here for 30 years who'd come here from South America, and they never had anyone to celebrate their culture with because nobody ever brought them together. You just mentioned hair. Now that just brings up an entirely interesting conversation because that's a huge issue right now.
Yes.
All over the place. We're hearing stories about how there are certain private schools that are saying no dreadlocks, or sporting teams that are saying you can't wrestle with your dreadlocks, or even just people in the industry. In Hollywood, there was an actress who was on that TV show America's Got Talent, and they were saying, oh, your hair, too many different hairstyles, because she was an African American. Yeah. I never even thought about that aspect of it.
Well, people don't think that our hair is part of our identity, right? Right. And so part of it too requires special talent that not every hairdresser has. Exactly. So that's some of the challenge that we all face, and
these are the little things that people wouldn't even think about, right?
Exactly.
So now, what's really cool about what you're doing with the Black History Month? You have 2 events, and one of them is like a shared storytelling event. Tell me about this. It's going to be a brunch, right?
It's going to be a brunch. It will be on the 15th of February at the Grand Gardens.
Grand Gardens North, so that's the 4th line location.
The Grand Gardens North, yes. What we are doing is we are having a round table discussion, and we have reached out to other Akano members who are very motivated and looking forward to sharing their stories with the rest of us. Yeah. We face unique challenges that sometimes, unless you're part of us or you come and share our stories with us, you'll not be able to really know what goes on. Yeah. So this is an opportunity for us to be able to share our stories, and also to make the community realize that we are here to work together with everybody else to make Sault Ste. Marie and Canada a good, diverse place for everybody.
It's enriching, culturally enriching. The other thing that your aspect of this is there's a meal, there's a brunch for the February the 15th. You said
the 15th.
February the 15th, which that's a Saturday.
Yes.
Yes, it is Saturday the 15th. What time does it start at Grand Gardens North?
11
a.m.?
It's at 11 a.m.
Okay. And this is not just for the African Canadian community or the Black community. This is actually for anybody who wants to attend to hear the stories.
Absolutely. All the activities that we do, all the gatherings that we have are open to the rest of the community, because we strongly believe that, first of all, we are not in our own bubble. We are not a vacuum. We have the rest of the community to celebrate with us, to come together so that we can share our meals, we can share our stories. So it's an open event and everybody's welcome to it.
Okay, sharing the meals, you got me with that one, because the next event that you want to talk about is the actual dinner dance. And you are going to have some special food there, is that correct?
Correct.
Once again at Grand Gardens, but you guys are going into the kitchen?
Yes. So the Grand Gardens have been great with giving us the opportunity to show their staff how certain, especially authentic meals, right? How they are prepared and what spices or what ingredients we require. And actually, there is a couple of Akano members who go into the kitchen and help out or observe while they're cooking the meal. So it's always that jerk chicken that you only get
in the Caribbean.
In the Caribbean,
right.
You'll get in Sault Ste. Marie because we have a member that goes in and helps with the preparation.
You're not buying a bottle of jerk sauce from the grocery store. This is like the real deal, right?
No, we're not. Yes.
Yes. What other countries are represented with Akano, and what other? I mean, that's jerk chicken from the Caribbean. Will they bring other dishes that are representative of other Black cultures?
We try to incorporate other cultures as well. Our soup will be a special lentil coconut soup.
Okay.
So that brings in also the East African cuisine in. In our appetizers, we are incorporating a lot of foods from the West African part of Africa.
Wow.
So it's a blend. It's a balanced blend of meals that touch different parts of the continent as well as South America.
Now, as you can imagine, an event like this is selling very well because I told you in Sault Ste. Marie, people love this kind of. They love as much as we love the many cultures we've had in Sault Ste. Marie: Polish, Ukrainian, Italian, Irish, all of these different. This is relatively new. Akano's been with the Sioux for how many years now? 5, 6.
Just having a formal dinner, this will be our 6th year.
This is the 6th year.
However, we started gathering together as a group in 2011.
In 2011, when we were doing the potlucks.
Yes.
So this is very exciting, though, for those the people like myself who loves to try different kinds of foods. I love that we have Syrian restaurants here now in Sault Ste. Marie. All of this amazing things that are happening is great. So people are buying tickets like crazy. We have to get on Eventbrite and buy these tickets before they sell out.
Correct.
Wait, what's the? Oh, I didn't even ask you. Is it the 29th? Is that the?
February 29 is the dinner event. Doors open at 5:30, and yes, the tickets are selling like hotcakes, which is really showing the appetite for the city, for diversity and for inclusion, and for celebrating and engaging with other cultures, right? So on Saturday, I think we had a meeting, and out of 360 tickets, we only had 150 tickets available.
Oh boy, okay.
And that's as of Saturday of last week.
I'm going on Eventbrite as soon as you guys leave the studio, and I'm buying my tickets because there's more than just the meal. There's way more than just a meal at this event. Tell me some more. What can we expect?
We'll be having 2 local guest speakers.
Really?
Who will be sharing their stories with us. They'll be sharing their migration and settlement story and impactful ways on how they've also been able to contribute to our local community and in Canada as large. So it will be very important for you to come and listen to our guest speakers that day and everybody else out there who is watching.
And that ties right into the theme. And this year's the theme for your Black History Month is?
So the theme is Our Stories, Integration and Black Excellence. And this is exactly what Jane said, is sharing people's integration story as well as their contributions. That's the Black Excellence piece, right? In the community. We're talking about local contributions on local Black excellence.
Beautiful. Also, music. There'll be some music.
There'll be a lot of authentic African Caribbean music to be played.
And I heard there might be some dancing. Should I wear my dancing shoes?
One of the things that has come every year is many guests that come normally say they don't get enough opportunity to be able to celebrate the music and to be able to dance. So this year we are doing something special, something different. We are going to offer people more time to be able to stand up, enjoy the music and dance to the music.
And it's kind of a fun affair because you get to wear some nice clothes. I mean, you're asking for people to be sort of cocktail wear, right? Sort of don't just show up in blue jeans. Put on your
may I say that we want to encourage people to wear cultural attire.
Really?
So the Canadian suit totally would go as cultural attire, right?
I'll wear a parka and a toque.
There you go. That works. That's northern attire. So cultural attire attire and business casual would be
Business
spot on.
casual and cultural attire.
Yes.
I love it. By the way, for those of you who haven't met Miriam yet, this is
Miriam Al-Mahriki.
And Miriam did something amazing just before we went to camera.
Yes, she stood
On her
without
own-
support.
without
on her
support.
own. Yes.
I wish the camera had been rolling. We could have had that as a momentous
I know.
occasion for all posterity. But Miriam, when you grow up, you can watch this interview back and see what a cutie you've always been.
I know.
Okay, so are the tickets for both of these things, both the brunch and the dinner Eventbrite tickets? Is that how we do it? Or is the brunch separate?
So the brunch event is a free ticketed event. We really want the community to come out.
What do you mean? We don't have to buy a ticket?
You don't. You have to register a ticket through an Eventbrite page that we'll put out once the event comes.
Okay.
Becomes confirmed.
Okay.
And yes, for the brunch. So it's free ticketed event. We want the community to come out, hear our stories, and ask their questions and share their stories. So this is just a free event, as I said.
Okay.
The dinner
and then
event is
so if you want to have the brunch, you buy the brunch when you get to Grand Gardens, kind of thing.
No, it's a fully catered free event.
What are you talking about?
They're going to be brunch and some refreshments.
That's so nice.
But it's a free event.
That's why you have to register, so you know how many people are coming,
Yes.
right?
We have a limited number of seats actually because it's a free event. So we'd appreciate that people would register in advance.
Okay.
And the dinner event is a ticketed event, which is $40 per ticket for an adult.
That's it?
That's it.
For $40, you get that amazing meal, plus you get entertainment.
We want people to come out and experience our culture and share our
I'm racing
cultures.
you people to the Eventbrite right now. I'm not even kidding you. I want to thank you for joining us again. I know that we've had a Cano on the show before. Dave has joined us before. He was a vice president.
He was a vice president. He's still actively involved. He's now a PR.
Yeah. Oh, is
Public
he?
Relations. Yeah.
Dave Mornix. Yeah, he's a great guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, you're all great. Thank you very much for being here. So we're going to go now to Eventbrite and get our tickets for what is the event called again? The 29th. Do you have a title for the whole evening? It's called. Is it just 2020 Black History Month?
Yes.
It's 2020 Black History Month.
Okay.
Yes.
And then the brunch again is on what date again? Sorry.
The brunch is on February 15th.
15th. Okay, the Saturday. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, great. Listen, you can go off air now, take your daughter and make her walk home. now that she can stand on her own, walk home. You're on your own, girl. All right. And the one final word is
Akalo, bringing people together.
We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
It's hunting season, so this is probably pretty stupid, right? Actually, hunting accidents kill somewhere around 2 people a year in Ontario. Smoking kills 16,000 a year. So, what's really stupid?
Give me a K.
K.
Give me a C.
C.
Give me security.
Oh, I thought you were going somewhere else with that. Security!
KC Security, thanks for sponsoring the show as always. Alex Parr.
I got through.
This was so much fun. Let's do it again.
Deal. See you tomorrow, Tim.
Oh, it's Friday tomorrow.
Let's go!
End of the week, we made it. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining us today.
When you support the Restore, it helps Habitat for Humanity build affordable housing for families. How does this work? New and gently used goods are donated to the Restore. The sale of these goods generate funds for building homes. For every $1 spent at the Restore, there is a $4 return on investment within our community. For example, Habitat homeowners have better educational outlook, increased employment stability, improved health, and reduction in the use of social services. Every donation and every dollar we receive through the Restore helps build sustainable housing for future homeowners. Everyone needs a foundation to build a future. To find out more and how you can help, drop by the Restore at 32 White Oak Drive or go to habitatsue.ca.